Silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is a living, breathing space where truth, clarity, and inner strength reveal themselves. The hidden power of silence invites us to step away from the constant noise of the world and enter a deeper dimension of existence, where every moment is infused with awareness and meaning. In its pages, the author reminds us that the world around us often mistakes loudness for strength, constant talking for wisdom, and relentless activity for progress. Yet, in reality, some of life's most profound answers do not come from thinking harder or speaking more, but from allowing ourselves the quiet space to simply be. The book opens with a gentle, almost poetic reminder: silence has been the cradle of great ideas, the refuge of the weary soul, and the unspoken bond between people who truly understand each other. Think of nature, the stillness of a forest at dawn, the hush of a snow-covered field, the calm of a mountain peak untouched by human noise. These are not empty moments, they are rich with life, depth, and presence. In the same way, when we bring silence into our own lives, we create a sanctuary within ourselves where thoughts can settle like snowflakes and the chaos of the world no longer dictates our inner state. One of the core insights of the book is that silence is not about withdrawal from life but about engagement with it in a deeper, truer way. The author shares the story of a man named Daniel, a successful entrepreneur whose life was filled with meetings, deadlines, and endless conversations. On the surface, he had everything: wealth, influence, and the admiration of his peers. But inside, he felt a persistent emptiness. His mind was always crowded with voices, not just from others, but from his own restless thoughts. One day, during a retreat in the mountains, Daniel was asked to spend a full day alone without speaking, writing, or even reading. At first, he felt restless and trapped. But as the hours passed, something inside him shifted. The mental noise began to fade, and in its place, he began to notice things he had long ignored: the rhythm of his breath, the warmth of the sun on his skin, the simple joy of being alive. That day changed his life. Silence had not taken him away from the world, it had returned him to it. The book teaches that silence is a form of communication, one often more powerful than words. In relationships, silence can express empathy, respect, and love more deeply than speech. The author tells of a woman named Clara whose mother was gravely ill. In the final weeks of her mother's life, Clara found herself sitting beside her in long stretches of wordless presence. No stories were told, no advice was given, no reassurances were spoken. Yet Clara's mother later told her, "In your silence, I felt everything I needed: your love, your understanding, your acceptance." The lesson here is that silence is not empty, it is a vessel that carries the purest form of connection. The hidden power of silence also lies in its ability to reveal our true selves. When we strip away the constant stream of conversation, notifications, and entertainment, we are left face to face with our own thoughts, fears, and dreams. This can be uncomfortable, which is why many people avoid silence: they fear what it will reveal. But the author encourages us to see this discomfort as a doorway, not a barrier. In the quiet, we can listen to the whisper of our intuition, the quiet pulse of our deepest desires, and the subtle guidance of our inner wisdom. Practical wisdom runs throughout the book, offering ways to cultivate silence in everyday life. One simple yet powerful practice is the silent morning ritual. Instead of reaching for a phone or turning on the news upon waking, the author suggests beginning the day with 10 minutes of complete stillness: no words, no screens, no distractions. Simply sitting with oneself, breathing, and observing the sensations of the moment. Over time, this practice can transform the entire rhythm of a person's day, creating a foundation of calm that is not easily shaken by outside noise. The author also touches on the spiritual dimension of silence. Across cultures and centuries, silence has been revered as a gateway to the divine. Monks, mystics, and sages have sought it not to escape life, but to touch its essence. In silence, we can sense that we are part of something vast and eternal, a reality beyond the reach of words. The book shares the example of a young woman named Aisha, who after a period of personal loss, traveled to a remote monastery. There, she participated in days of silent meditation. At first, her grief seemed louder than ever in the quiet. But as she surrendered to the stillness, she began to feel a presence, not of someone outside her, but of something deep within her that was unshakable and infinite. She returned home with a serenity that no amount of talking could have given her. Silence also holds the power to sharpen the mind. In a world obsessed with multitasking and constant stimulation, the ability to be fully present and attentive has become rare. The book points out that silence is like a mental reset button, clearing away the clutter of scattered thoughts and allowing us to focus with precision. The author cites research showing that periods of intentional silence can improve creativity, problem solving, and emotional resilience. Just as the body needs rest to function at its best, the mind needs silence to perform at its highest capacity. But perhaps the most transformative insight the book offers is this: silence is not something we do, it is something we allow. It is already present beneath the noise, like the still depths of the ocean beneath the waves. We do not have to force it, we only have to stop resisting it. This shift in perspective can change everything. Instead of seeing silence as an absence to be filled, we begin to see it as a presence to be honored. By the final chapters, the author invites readers to carry silence into their interactions, their decisions, and their moments of self-reflection. When faced with conflict, instead of reacting immediately, pause in silence. When making a major life decision, sit with it quietly before speaking it aloud. When feeling overwhelmed, step away from the noise, even for a few minutes, and breathe into the stillness. In these pauses, we find clarity, strength, and wisdom that cannot be accessed in constant motion. The transformation that comes from embracing silence is not about becoming distant or detached, it is about becoming more present, more compassionate, and more attuned to the essence of life. The book closes with the reminder that the greatest truths are often spoken in silence: the love between two people who simply hold hands without words, the awe of standing before a breathtaking sunset, the peace that comes from knowing that in this moment, nothing needs to be added or taken away. The hidden power of silence is ultimately a call to remember that in a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the most powerful voice you can have is sometimes the one that says nothing at all, because in that nothingness, everything that matters is heard.